hang on to your recording devices. We've officially reached the point of our summer session where you are going to be delivering your first speech, which is the special occasion speech of tribute. You've also reached the midpoint of the summer session, so we're halfway through. Congratulations. You're doing a really good job. I'd like to take a couple of minutes and walk you through some aspects of Lesson 4, delivery and presenting your special occasion speech. For this lesson, you will have some reading because it's going to involve language and word choice. So I'm asking that you read chapter 13 and 14. And as an additional learning tool, I've posted the PowerPoints for each of the chapters in here as well. You'll see that following that, the PowerPoint are the guidelines for the special occasion speech of tribute. These guidelines were introduced a couple of weeks ago, so these should look very familiar. Just review them. Review my evaluation that I will be using to grade you. View the sample speech, and then review the guidelines for the outline that you're going to be turning in to me in a different Dropbox for the speech of tribute. You'll see the example outline. Again, this is just an example, so make sure that you're using your own. Make sure that you have the proper information that matches the content of your speech. You'll see the grading rubric for the speech of tribute. This will be the rubric that I use to assess you on. It'll look familiar because I also have used it for your practice outlines that you've done. This is just going to be the complete outline grading rubric because you will be submitting the complete outline. And the complete outline will have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. To assist you with verbal and nonverbal aspects of delivery, I've posted a YouTube video of a person delivering a speech using extreme nonverbals. And you're going to watch this and go, wow. I mean, I still watch it. I watched it over a dozen times and I'm just like, this is real. I can't believe it. But it's a great example of how somebody uses vocal variety in a way to attempt to grab the audience's attention and sustain that attention, but then they end up just going extreme with it and it contradicts the content that they're using. So check it out. And then I also provided another example of a speech of tribute. This particular speech of tribute is a commencement speech, and you've probably seen this floating around social media or the internet, but Rick Rigsby delivers a commencement address to a group of college students using principles that he got from his father, who happened to have been a third grade dropout. This is pretty emotional in a really good way, so just a warning, it may cause you to cry. I know I cried when I watched it for the first time. It's probably why I want to share it with you. I thought it was really powerful. So watch that, and then you will be exploring and attempting to analyze language. Here, I'm just trying to open this up here. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. And you're going to have three separate sections here, letter A, letter B, and letter C. In each of the sentences underneath the letters, you are going to attempt to select the most appropriate word to fit that sentence. So for example, in letter A, we've got the words insisted, persisted, urged, persevered. They all essentially mean the same thing, but you will use a certain word based upon how you structure and organize the statement it will be in. So, for example, I blank her to treat her roommate more kindly. I insisted her treat her roommate more kindly. Nope. I persisted her to treat her roommate more kindly. Nope. I urged her to treat her roommates more kindly. Yes. Okay. So you'll do that for this section of letter B, and this section of letter C. Once you've plugged in the appropriate words, you're going to save to your computer or your USB, and then submit to the Dropbox by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Then you're going to play around using abstract and concrete language. So you've got 3 bullet points here, and your goal is to attempt to arrange each of the sequences from most abstract wording to most concrete wording. So here's an example. This first bullet point: housing complex, building, dining room, structure, apartment. You are attempting to arrange them from most abstract to most concrete. So it would look something like this: structure, building, housing complex, apartment, dining room. So it went from abstract to most concrete. So you'll do that for each of these bullet points, save it to your computer or your USB, and then submit to the Dropbox by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. I've posted the recording guidelines and how to submit your recording of your speeches. You're going to be submitting them into 2 different places: the Dropbox and the discussion board. The discussion board will be so your classmates can watch your speech and peer evaluate them, and then the Dropbox will be for me to watch your speech and grade it. And you want to make sure that your link is set to public, but that it's unlisted in a title. And you'll just post it to the notes section of the Dropbox here. So something as simple, let me just pull up an example. I'm going to say this is my speech right here. I'll just copy and I'll paste it, and then I'll submit. And then it says you have submitted the following files to Dropbox. Now I submitted this once before for an example. So that's why you see 2, but if you're only submitting once, you'll only see 1. And then it will tell you you've submitted, like in this case, I've submitted the maximum number allowed for this Dropbox, and that it was submitted successfully. Again, you'll post to the Dropbox, and then for your peers to be able to evaluate, I'm asking that you submit this by the 7th, so on Saturday. So open the discussion board, copy and paste your link right in here into the comment section, and then hit submit. If I have any issues accessing your link, I will let you know. I'll send you a message via Dropbox. I'll also send you an email. You'll also see that there'll be a 0 in the gradebook. That's just a placeholder to grab your attention if you haven't seen the Dropbox feedback or the email. And then once I get the resubmitted active link, depending upon the issue that I had, that grade will change. But note that if I have an issue, I'll let you know right away. Then you are to assess 2 of your peers, and you'll just open up the grading rubric. This is the same rubric I'll be using to grade you, but yours will say something different at the top. So this one is for the peer evals. You'll write the speaker's name here, and then you'll put your name here. I'm asking that you grade each of the performance criterias, and then you're going to identify 3 areas that you thought the speaker did well on, and then 3 areas that you thought the speaker could improve upon. You'll then submit those 2 evaluations to the Dropbox. Each evaluation is worth 5 points, so 10 points total, and you'll want to submit those by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Lastly, for the speech, you will be evaluating yourself, and this evaluation sheet looks exactly like the peer evaluation sheet. It just says self at the top. So here you can just put your name. And then you'll grade your own performance criteria, and then identify 3 areas that you thought you performed well on and 3 areas that you want to improve upon for your next speech. Submit that to the Dropbox by Sunday, and then complete the Chapter 13-14 quiz. So there'll be 20 questions, 10 questions are multiple choice, 10 questions are true and false. You are allowed to take it multiple times up until the due date or until you reach a 100, whatever comes first. Then some reminders for posting your assignments and what's due. And then congratulations, you've completed lesson 4 and you're officially at the midway point of the summer session, and we only have 4 more weeks after this. While you are working through this, if you have any questions, please email, call. If you're on campus here, stop on by. Happy to help any way that I can. Keep up the good work.